buy that for $1.
Drop it! Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Alright, welcome to Did They Game It? Today I'll be playing Robocop on the NES and discussing the original film. It's a nice pre-spring day, but I don't feel like going outside, so I just opened the windows and decided to play a 38-year-old game. Robocop is a classic sci-fi movie. If you're into sci-fi movies at all, if you haven't seen it, you've got to watch it. It's one of my personal favorite sci-fi movies. And I feel like we are going to talk about Robocop a lot in this podcast. There's several games, there's movies, TV shows, cartoons, and I've been a fan as long as I can remember. And I think the first one I saw was that crappy third one, so that's commitment. To take a break because I kept hearing a rattling noise every time I talked, then it would quit every time I got quiet. Finally, I realized it was just one of the many cats running around here below the couch that kept purring every time I spoke. All right, well, that's taken care of. So, Robocop, if you don't know, is centered around Alex Murphy, a good cop based in crime-riddled Detroit. And before anybody gets upset about crime-riddled Detroit, just remember this is fiction. It's sci-fi. I'm sure Detroit isn't really like that. So the Detroit Police Department gets taken over by OCP, a big corporation, and their goal is to use the police force to rid the city of crime so they can build their own new city on Old Detroit. The new city is called Delta City. And the way they're going to try to clean up crime is to use the standard police force they have now, create a robot police officer called the Ed 209 to clean up crime. But there is another executive who's trying to move his way up in the corporation who wants to use Cyborg, half man, half machine, to clean up the city and do a better job than the robot. And this is where Alex Murphy comes in because they're looking for candidates for the Robocop program. And the candidates have to basically be mortally wounded in the line of duty, meet certain criteria, like be a family man, religious, and have a commitment to duty. And the bummer part about this, and I actually didn't realize it until last night, was that they moved him around they moved him around to a more dangerous precinct because he was actually such a great candidate. Because I kind of always missed this line when I watched it, where the executive says they restructured the police department, placed prime candidates based on risk factors, which makes this story even more depressing because he actually got sacrificed because he was such a good cop. And yeah, that just put a whole new bummer spin on it for me. Uh, yeah, so Alex Murphy gets attacked in a brutal scene by a gang, and it's a classic scene that I know a lot of any like sci-fi fans would know about this one. It's where he gets shot up in the warehouse, and I mean they like blow his hand off, shoot his arm off. It's it's a really great scene, but it is kind of sad, especially now that you know like he was just put through this because he was a good candidate for it. Before I thought it was just random that they picked him, but I guess I didn't pay attention enough. So after he gets put in the RoboCop program, he still has his base memories as a human. He doesn't have all of them, but he can remember certain things like being murdered and his family, which also they didn't get into it too deep, but it is a pretty good angle to do the man versus machine psychology of it. And during the film, he tries to get revenge on the guys who killed him. And I just want to say about this movie, I love every character of this movie. The villain is awesome, Clarence Bottinger. It was Red Foreman from that '70s show. He does a terrific job. The president and the co-president or vice president are perfect. I mean, every character. Lewis, his partner. Obviously, you have to talk about RoboCop himself, Alex Murphy, Peter Weller. He did such a great job with his movements and his walk. And I watched the RoboCop documentary, RoboDoc, on Prime, and it goes into detail about how much effort he put into it and training to get down the robotic movements. And I mean, just the whole film, the one-liners, so many great lines from this movie, even ones where you wouldn't know it's from RoboCop, you'd remember it. And like that's why for the intro I had such a hard time picking what line to put in. The perfect mix of comedy and action. It's just yeah, it is so good. I don't know how many times I've seen this movie, but I don't want to go over the plot too much because I'm sure a lot of people have already watched this. They know it, so I don't need to go over it beat by beat. And anybody who hasn't seen it probably wants to watch it, I would hope. The only thing I gave away is that Alex Murphy basically dies to become RoboCop, but I'm pretty sure you pick up that it's in the very beginning. You're gonna get that. Also, I keep getting that line stuck in my head where Clarence Bodiger throws a guy from a vehicle and he just asks him, "Can you fly, Bobby?" I don't know why. I'll be doing that for days now. That and when the guy shoots off a big gun and screams, "I like it." It's just yeah. I need to stop watching the movie because I start annoying people with that. And I know I'm gonna do the "Dead or Alive, You're Coming with Me." Just all good stuff. Really good stuff. One thing that did bother me, it didn't bother me, I just thought it was kind of funny, I guess, was that there's this scene where Bodinger is getting arrested by RoboCop in like a drug factory, and he's telling RoboCop like everything, who he works for, and that he's protected, all this stuff, basically admitting to crimes. And then he goes and sees Bottinger sees the vice president, Dick Jones, the next day, and Dick Jones is yelling at him that he's a cyborg, and he recorded your whole confession. Meanwhile, the night before, Dick Jones deals with RoboCop and tries to kill him, and starts talking about how he's murdered people. And I thought you're just bitching to this guy about how you just confessed to a cyborg. Anyway, yeah, I also did that. Just yeah, I don't know that level of bad guyery always kind of annoyed me, like the James Bond villain trope, where they always tell him every part of their plan and then he escapes to foil the plan. Yeah, I don't know. It was just funny that I didn't really catch that before. So that's two new things that I've noticed with my last viewing that they basically put Alex Murphy in the line of fire to die to become RoboCop and that the bad guys are just kind of the classic bad guy idiots who give away their whole plan to the one guy that can stop them. So the game is another Ocean classic. Ocean is the company that made RoboCop 3 for the Super Nintendo and Lethal Weapon for the Super Nintendo, which I've already covered. Basically the same setup, harder difficulty and very short game. This one wasn't as hard as RoboCop 3 or Lethal Weapon, but it had a little higher difficulty. Once I got the hang of it though, it was pretty simple. Like I was getting through the first 5 missions before I would even lose a life. At the end, by the time I beat it, it only took me 17 minutes to get through the whole game. My main tip for anybody trying to beat it is there's 2 bonus games that you get where you're at a shooting gallery and you have to hit at least 30 targets to get an extra life. I would go and make sure that on my run through, I get at least one of those extra lives. Because in the final level, it's a conveyor belt level, or at least for the first part, where it takes you a while to get through it. And once you do, and you get to the final boss, which is an Ed 209, it takes you quite a bit of time to beat the Ed 209. And I found that I kept losing because I kept running out of time. I wasn't even really dying during the level. And the thing is, when you get the extra life, you get your extra life in the middle of the level. Without it, when you die, you just restart the whole level over and get the same amount of time. So, yeah, get that extra life because that's what I did. And I died towards the beginning of the level. but it restarted my time and all of my energy, so I was able to get through it with just barely any time left. And I would say the time thing is kind of annoying because they don't give you an actual clock. All it is a bunch of bars that slowly dwindle down the more time you take. So I don't really know exactly how much time I have left while I'm playing. It's just kind of a weird system. Then it was a little and half frustrating. I don't know. It's just kind of panic inducing when you just see the bars going down. You don't know exactly what they represent. All of the levels in the game were in the movie. The first level is Streets of Old Detroit. The second is City Hall, where the main bad guy is the mayor holding people hostage. The third is the storage building, where you fight Clarence Bodiger for the first time. The fourth is OCP headquarters, where you fight Ed 209 for the first time. The steel factory, fight Clarence Bodiger for the last time. And then the final level is return to OCP headquarters, where you fight Ed 09 for the final time. And then you have the two bonus stages. Robocop feels like Robocop. He moves kind of slow. His movements are like Robocop in the movie. He has his classic weapon with him. You can pick up other weapons along the way, like a machine gun, and you can get the powerful weapon that the bad guys had at the end of the film, which I would use that one on Clarence Bottinger like right away. The first time you face him, if you hit him once, that's it. He's done. And then the three other henchmen come, which I would just use the machine gun on them to get through that level. Once you get to the Ed 209, that's basically just timing. Um, he walks towards you, you shoot up at him at an angle, move back when he fires after about 4 steps. You got to give yourself enough time to get out of the way because you're Robocop, so you're going to move slow. Then you move back to him, do the same thing, move away on the fourth step so you don't get shot, go back in. You just got to do that about 3 or 4 times to beat Ed 209 the first time. And then Bodinger and Ed 209 the second time are stronger. Bodinger, again, is not that hard to beat if you use the big gun a couple times on him. And Ed 209, you just need the time. And I think the machine gun worked the best on it. As for the music, I hope you like an 8-bit version of the Robocop theme because that's all you hear throughout the entire game. Which, I mean, I liked it, so it was good for me. But if you don't like it, I guess I just put it on mute because, yeah, that's it. Well, it's going to be at the beginning of this podcast, so I guess you can decide if you're going to play this game if you already like that music or not. So, Robocop for the NES. Did they game it? Definitely. This, like I said, feels like Robocop. All the levels are in the movie. It was really fun too. If I had this game when I was a kid, I think I really would have enjoyed it. I would have been kind of bummed out once I got good at it because, yeah, if you beat a game in 17 minutes, you can only play it so many times before it wears thin. I guess I'd probably, if I was a kid and had it, I probably would have just tried to go for records to see how quickly I could get through it. Also, this is the first game I've covered on the NES, and man, the NES holds up. I love playing this. I got a nice little setup. Like I said, I got a window behind the old TV, the old Montgomery Ward TV. So I got that going. I can play Duck Hunt on there. But yeah, I got that set up in front of a window. I can open it up, get a nice sunset, get a breeze coming in, play Robocop. It was really relaxing. It really takes you back too. I'm still trying to decide if I like ocean games. I'm pretty sure I do because all of them that I played so far have been really fun. They just are super short once you get the lay of the land, learn how to beat all of them. They're really not as difficult as everybody makes them seem. I would recommend this game to anybody who's into retro games. Really, the controls I enjoyed. The handling was good. I think the main problem I ever had with the controls was going up and down stairs, and that was mostly because you had to be in just the right spot to do that. Also, sometimes when I would try to crouch and shoot, I would just shoot downward at an angle. That was the only part that was kind of difficult. Was every once in a while I would try to shoot up at an enemy at an angle and end up shooting either like straight up in the air or like straight down. You just kind of got to hold that right, especially when you have the big gun, because you only get so much ammo for that and you don't want to waste it shooting at the wrong angle. And the thing about the ammo for the big gun or even the machine gun, there are enemies that come on the screen, and when you shoot them, they drop the extra ammo. So when it came to the ammo for the big gun, I would shoot the villain, pick it up, move back off spring so the enemy would respawn, and then shoot him again, pick up the ammo, go back, repeat. If I had enough time in a level, I would do that, like 4 or 5 times, and then I would use that big gun to kill Ed Bodinger or Clarence Bodinger. I almost said Ed to Clarence Bodinger and Ed 209. One's a robot, one's a man. I would edit that mistake out, or I'm not the one who edits. I would have it taken out, but this podcast is so short, I would just leave it in. It's mostly because it's kind of hard to cover a 17-minute game for a half hour. And the movie, I don't want to beat it to death because, like I said, there's so many Robocop games that I'm going to talk about Robocop quite a bit. Hopefully, next time I'll have somebody with me so it's easier to go back and forth on it. But my next one is I'm hoping to buy Robocop 2 on the NES or on the Game Boy or on both so I can review those and talk about Robocop 2. That's the Robocop movie I have a poster of in my game room. So, really brings it all together, the whole feng shui of the room. I need more Robocop stuff for my game room. Well, I don't need any more stuff for my game room. I have so many things just all in here. But finding Robocop stuff online, it's always so expensive, which I did not think that was going to be a thing. Everybody always talks about Terminator, so I figure Robocop would get overlooked. But maybe they just didn't make a bunch of Robocop stuff because just like Robocop on the NES, that's easy to get your hands on. Robocop 2 seems to be a little harder. Robocop for the Game Boy, both of them, it seems more expensive. And I'm trying to do all of this podcast on a budget. I don't think I have enough cans to recycle to cover the price of that Robocop game. Then there's Robocop on the Xbox. That's expensive. That'll be quite a big bag of cans to get that one. A lot of the games that I've looked at so far have gotten pretty terrible reviews, and I haven't thought they were that terrible yet. And I'm just wondering if it's the lens that people are looking at these games through now, like their adult lens with all the games they've played since and everything available now. Because when I'm reviewing them, what I'm trying to do is look at them through a lens of when they came out. Also, maybe it's a little flawed, but I like to look at the games at the age I would have been when they came out. Because a lot of these I would have been, so far, I would have been a little kid. And this one, the Robocop game, I think as a kid, I would have played this over and over. I think it was good enough to be a repeat game for me. Just like Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I beat that game hundreds of times. I played it hundreds of times as a kid. I played it a bunch as an adult. And I think I'm going to probably play this RoboCop game again too. So I just think if anybody disagrees with like my reviews, just so you know, that's kind of how I try to look at them. Try to look at where the game came from, around what time it was, what else would have been available. And yeah, this one, I still, for everything I have, I still like it. And I think people should check it out if you're a fan of Robocop or just a fan of older NES games, because, I mean, from some of the other ones I played, this game really isn't bad at all. So give it a try if anybody ever hears this. And yeah, let me know what you think of it. Yeah, I think that's it. Man, I wrote notes and everything. I actually came in prepared today. You know how rare that is? And then this is what happens. Barely, probably 18 minutes now. And it's all because I came in prepared and ready to go and talk about something that I love. That's more moral of the story, the lesson that you get other than RoboCop for the NES is a fun game. Don't try. Alright, well, until next time, yeah, don't try.